Slainte, y'all. A rookie mistake and a tired one. I hope everyone's doing well. And Slainte, welcome from Glasgow. Hopefully, we've got better internet than we did a few months ago in Campbelltown. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me. And just want to say, hey, I know it's early in the States and it's for a change early in the UK for folks to see the show. So, yeah, welcome to Tuesday. It's 11 o'clock, not 2 a.m. over here, as we would normally have our Scotch on the Bayou live show. Uh, yeah, crazy. So, just seeing who all is in, and y'all have to bear with me. I don't have a big monitor, so I can't see much. So I just want to say, hey to everybody who's popped in, including my honey, who's being so sweet and patient with me being over here. Hey, Mark, love you and thank you for being your normal, wonderful self. Kathy's in, totally understand, friend. Happy anniversary. Great to see you here, and I hope you enjoy your time tonight. That's awesome. Sugar Kitty is in, and so is Mark JG. That's awesome. Hey, friend. Yeah, and Pete had finally a decent time for you, right? Thanks so much, Frank, for being in. And just, we're just going to have a really quick check in and hi and kind of gush about the things that I've been doing for the last couple of days because it has been a whirlwind. And I, as we would say, am smooth ass worn out, but absolutely loving every bit of it. So, yeah, thanks for being in here, Frank. And Highland Hamish. Hamish, can't wait. I'm going to get to see you this weekend. I know you coming in from Inverness, just super fabulous, wonderful guy, which Mark JG got to see and meet when he was here this summer. So, yeah, super, super guy. Andrew, good evening. I'm glad I can keep you here. We could all meet here before midnight. I hope you're doing well, and that you had a wonderful time at the Dornoch Whiskey Festival a couple weeks ago. I can only imagine how good that was. And if your ears are burning tonight, which is a saying that we have when someone's talking about you, we were talking about you. Graham Fraser and I were in the most wonderful little bar in Sterling tonight called the Curly Coo, and they had a couple of Dornoch Castle expressions. One of which was that cask one that you shared with me, Andrew. And so we had a dram of the 54 cask 54 tonight, and it was so lovely, so very lovely. But yeah, let's see who else is in. Hey, Martin is in, Slainte friend, and speak of him, this guy was tour guide extraordinaire today. I can't even tell you how fabulous this guy is, down to the part of making sure I understood how to get on a train and get off of the train. And we took the bus to Calendar. We're going to talk all about that. I'm going to go kind of in order since I landed. But yeah, Graham Fraser is most valuable whiskey peep today because he knocked it out of the park. We had such a really, really great day. I'm a little windburned. I don't know about you. Tater Dom is in. Good to see ya. Molasses. Hey, Fraser. Good to see you. Thanks for being in. Yeah, we're gonna have Whiskey Franco is in, and I know some folks in the States may still be working. If I can give you uh, an excuse to day drink, here it is. Glad I can help you. Yes, my birthday buddy friend. Hey, Tiffany. Tiffany and I, super sweet friend of mine, we're one day apart. And so Sunday was my birthday, and I spent it in Glasgow. And I can't tell you, it was fantastic. Really fun day. Daniel's in, well, a bunch of my alums from Isla Whiskey Academy. So yeah, just wanted to kind of say hello, kind of keep the thing rolling on Tuesday nights. But to give you an idea about what's going on, first and foremost, you may know this trip wasn't really kind of planned. It just kind of blew up. And I had pie in the sky hopes that I would be able to maybe come back and experience Glasgow Whiskey Festival, and had mentioned it to Roy, and we all just, it was pie in the sky. Well, come to find out, the ticket was available, and you know, YOLO, you only live once, right? So I found my way very quickly this weekend. I mean, excuse me, this summer. I we were over here 2 and 3 weeks. Mark was 2, and I was 3. I planned that trip for 6 months. I didn't have but like maybe 3 weeks to pay to kind of figure this one out. And some of it is still evolving. Like the next 2 days are still kind of evolving a little bit. Um, but the last 2.5 days, 3 days I've had have just been unbelievable. So, first and foremost, I showed up after 3 planes: New Orleans to Washington, D.C., Dulles to Dublin, Dublin to Glasgow. About 34 hours of travel time and a wait time. Let's put it that way. Um, and I have a bag. Like my bag arrived as opposed to the summer. So I ended up checking the bag because I brought over a bunch of samples for folks. Not so much, whole bottles, but I wanted to share a lot of what I have with other people, and especially some American single malts. So the Stranahan's Hocus Pocus single cask I brought, the Andalusia Paladuro expression American single malt from Blanco, Texas. Those two. I even brought some of the whiskey I bought this summer. I brought some of it back in samples, which was really pretty fun. And then also, because most everybody I know is an absolute art American fiend right now, I brought some of that US only expression of the art America that Chris and Gregor, Tom Fergram, everyone, Chris, that we had a couple of weeks ago that we all tasted. And it's just really neat. And I wanted to be able to share that with people who really love art American, but we're not ever going to be able to have it because it was US only. And I mean, isn't that the reason that we do whiskey? I mean, part of it is that sharing, right? So thankfully, bags all showed up. Got in Saturday, very, very early. I am staying in a place called Native Glasgow, and it's kind of like a corporate apartment kind of thing. And it is half a block away from George Square in the middle of town. It's 1 block from Queen Street Station, rail station. You could not find, I mean, this is such a really good way. It's 4 blocks from the pot still. It's great. Very super safe, and really, really enjoying it. And got settled and kind of just chilled out for a while and watched the Oswas, because they were Saturday night, the online Scotch Whiskey Awards, and enjoyed those, and ended up going and meeting these 2 guys. They were the MCs. So Roy met Roy and Ralphie at the Bon Accord that evening and had some drams and just enjoyed being able to say hi to them. And yeah, so that started off with a bang, I gotta say. Mad props for 1,000 reviews from Ralphie. Mad props to both of them for producing an award program that is all about the people, and about the people's say in what they like to drink. So check that replay out if you haven't yet, on the online Scotch Whiskey Awards, OSWAs. And if you haven't been a part of it before, definitely register so that you can vote on it for next year. Because it's super, it's a super program. There's so many awards that you really have to kind of take with more than a grain of salt because they're sponsored by certain entities that have a lot to do with the industry, and that's great. And I'm, I don't really want to comment too much on that, but this award group is truly from the people. Aficionados get together and they kind of come up with um, a nomination, and then the people get to nominate, and the people get to choose and have their say in it. So anyway, there's the auspice. So that was Saturday. Sunday was my birthday, and I got to spend it. Just had a nice morning and got to spend it with my friend Caitlin and her friend named Leanne, and we had brunch and had a great time visiting, and then ended up going and seeing Taylor Swift's movie, which was a lot of fun, and just really enjoying that and just having a nice chill time. That was really great. It really was. And then I knew that I was going to hit it going Monday, and really hit the ground going. So yesterday, I wanted to get a really good idea of the town or city of Glasgow. I mean, I've been here before, but just little bits and pieces. So I did the tourist thing. I got on the red double decker bus and rode all around. And the city is so rich with history and the ties to the Americas with the tobacco trade and even slave trade and just all of these things that the fact that it was 25 days quicker to come from port to from Virginia to Glasgow than it was to London. So it made it a really big shipping area, and merchant area. All of those things just kind of add to the mystique of this town for sure. I'm gonna go back and see on our comments and see who else is here. Yeah, says, did I get the full Mandy treatment? I did, and then some, Andrew. Just absolutely a delightful lady. We'll talk about Mandy here in a minute. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm so glad to see everybody. Yeah. Hey, Graham Brown. Good to see you too. Yes, I'm so very looking forward. I'm the random guy that will said hello to you in the streets. I'll say, yes, of course you will. Hey, it's good to see you. Yeah, it's funny how we kind of all think we know tonight. I got to meet Aiden at the Whiskey Gantry, beautiful whiskey shop in Sterling, and he's like, "I think I know you," and I'm like, "I think I know you too." So yeah, it's a awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, Doug, can you get an autograph? You so silly. Hey, friend, thanks for taking care of Mark while I'm calling. I really do appreciate it. Oh shoot, that just jumped real quick. I saw something from Mark JG. Yeah, the double decker. I mean, that's the easiest, fastest way to get around to see a town, and kind of get your bearings and your landmarks. Um, so one of the stops on that actually is um, the Clydeside Distillery, and it's a new distillery. There's just this little crop, a crop of very exciting new distilleries. And you've got Clydeside, you've got Lockleigh, you've got Brassey, Ardnamurchan, Holyrood. Now the new Port of Leith, of course, they're not going to have a whiskey for a good while. But all of these new whiskeys that are coming out, and Clydeside's definitely one of those I was interested in. And so the river in Glasgow is the Clyde River, and a lot of shipping came through there, of course. And it's kind of shallow, so they would like debark big ships into smaller boats that would take things in. And they had basically a pump house which got my interest because we have a lot of pump houses in New Orleans. They're trying to get the water out of the city, though. But this one particular pump house the hydraulics would move a bridge to basically this floating dock that was out in the Clyde, and they would be able to offload the boats and get the merchandise or whatever they were hauling onto the mainland from the river. And the whole history about that, reclaiming that history and putting a distillery in this was very interesting. Didn't realize until we got into the story just how deep that was. And basically whiskey royalty that was associated with that. Um, so if you haven't done a lot of searching about Clydeside, so this was the first this was the first purchase, um, and this is their 2023 limited edition, which is a cast strength whiskey. Uh, it's worth time to go Google and to look at their website. Really good story, but it was founded by Tim Morrison, and he, along with his brother Brian, their whole family has ties down back to the bricklaying of that pump station. So just all that they've had to do, the fact that this family owned Bamore at one time. They still own 80 Rattray of the independent bottler. They own Glengarry at one time. All of these different kind of Akatoshan, another. So they've been in this deep seated um, history of Glasgow and whiskey making. And so they have that, and they have the absolutely delightful Alistair McDonald, who came from Aquatution, who is their distiller and distillery manager. And he was so nice, but we got to meet him, and we got to meet Tim Morrison. It was amazing. I just could not believe that we had, because I just took the plane tour, and as serendipity would have it, it just happened to be there, and you make your own luck sometimes. That's all I'm going to say. So it was really cool to meet them, talk to them about what their plans are, what they're looking at doing with the distillery. They've got the Stop Crosses, their core range, which is like a 90-10 bourbon to sherry maturation. Um, and just it's still young, still like I think they were at 4 or 5 years, but it's still young. But there's a really good base there. Had Alistair poured this for us, which is and of course it's a lowland because it's in Glasgow. Um, but yeah, this cast strength, I really did enjoy that. And then I had, let's see, I'm going to do this without. So Tim Morrison signed it, and then, let me turn it that way. Alistair signed it. So that was really pretty cool. So that was kind of like the birthday, is getting kind of geeking out over these two gentlemen at Clydeside was really awesome. Very interesting that you could tell they've um, got a lot of plans. They were playing with some cask in the back that we got to kind of taste, and they weren't whiskeys because they weren't old enough to be called whiskey, but they had so much potential. It's like, are you sure this isn't at least 30 years? So I'm pretty stoked about what they'll be coming out with for sure. Let's go back. Hey, Donna, good to see you, man. Donna, happy birthday! Yay! I know you're still. This is really still early for you at work, I bet. But yeah, buddy, thanks so much. And I'm going to do everything I can to have as much fun and enjoy the festival. The festival is going to be epic. I already know. I know it's going to be probably a little more than overwhelming. But I think the important thing is to be very responsible and all good things in moderation, as we all know. I mean, you can really overdo it because so many things are going to be at that whiskey festival that I'll never see, that we'll never have on a shelf, where I live. And that's okay. I don't have to have all of that. It's really okay. So I'm kind of going to go for some of the things that I know that I won't um, get to experience and just have a wee bit. Just truly, it's more of a tasting. It's not a drinking thing. I hope more people understand that's how you should really be at a whiskey festival. And hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Lots of water. Yeah. Hey, Greg. Well, thank you for the birthday wish. Oh, yours is right. Yes, you're right around the corner. Well, happy birthday to you too. Yeah, and as far as the Scorpios go, it does take a little while to we can be a little a little pinchy here and there, but anyway, but oh no, it's just like you're on sick leave. Oh, big cold. No, we don't want that. I hope you get to feeling better soon, friend. I would say maybe, depending if you have to have some medication, maybe not, but a hot toddy does tend to make me feel better. Oh goodness. Hey Pedro's and hello friend. Thanks for joining and being part of the party. Um Donna, we actually talked about you tonight. Mandy and I she did mention you actually. Graham mentioned you and said to tell you hello. Awesome. Yes. So if anybody saw Graham's post, thank you, Graham, for tagging me on Facebook because I'm so tired. I haven't even put out a post yet. But yeah, so Graham Fraser today today was just fantastic. So actually, so last night, as if not going to Clattside wasn't enough, I ended up going and seeing a band last night play. Band's called Inhaler, and they're an Irish band, rock band, fantastic. And can remember seeing the lead singer's dad playing a band that was real big in the 80s and 90s called U2. So it was kind of this whole full circle of seeing Bono's child up there as a singer, and yeah, they're really going to be a great band. So that was a lot of fun. It was one of those last minute, didn't have a ticket, walked up, the security guard said, "Anybody got a ticket for sale?" And this kid comes out and goes, "Yeah, I got an extra ticket," and it's like, boom, I'm in. And that's kind of how this whole week has been. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I might need to go get a lottery ticket. It's been pretty fun for sure. So yeah, today was an enormous day. It was a whole lot. And I wouldn't have changed a thing about it for sure. So this morning I took the train, again, 1 block from where I'm staying, from Glasgow to Sterling. I remember my first trip driving that. And if I remember, actually, I drove it from Edinburgh, so it took a little bit longer. It was like a 20-minute train. It's just like, boom, we're there. And then uh, this wonderful smiling face of Graham Fraser was there to meet me. And we we jumped on a bus and went to Callendar. So Callendar is just kind of northwest of Stirling. You may have heard of Doon or Doon Castle. For your Monty Python folks out there, Doon Castle is the backdrop of the vicious white rabbit scene in the Holy Grail. so it's so that Doon is between Stirling and Callendar. And so we took the bus up there and met these incredible women who I've only heard and have seen some of their videos, but you've heard me talk about the Dram Face podcast before. Well, Jen and Rachel, who own the Grail whiskey shop, and do Grail whiskey tastings. They have a YouTube channel. They are an absolute riot. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll hear Gregor, time for a dram, trying to keep trying to tame all parties to uh, keep the things flowing because they're just too funny. They know so much about whiskey. They have such a great palate, and they're genuinely really good people. And they were exactly as I thought they were going to be when I met them today. And I was like, we can so hang together. I think Rachel and I could probably get in trouble together, so as long as somebody would have bail money, I think we'd be good. But yeah, delightful folks, and they treated us to some different drams, and I was able to grab a bottle that I've been kind of scoping out from them today, and we'll talk more about that when I get home. But yeah, just delightful time for them to come in and say, both of them to come in and say hello to me and Graham while we were there. And then it was time to go to Deanston. So back on the bus we got, and we ended up. Let's see, Graham, we were there. Hey, Katie, I see you're in, friend. Good to see you. We got there. We were going to have a regular tour and then a warehouse tasting, and Graham gets a notification that they're doing construction and that we can't do the tour. And he's like, well, it's kind of disappointing. Surely there's some part of it we can have. Well, we ended up lucking out, and very graciously, their new distillery manager, Murray Kerr, was able to give us a tour today. And they're kind of in their silent season. They're doing a lot of maintenance and putting in a new malt distribution area. Like when the malt comes in, like it's not going just dumping it into the hole in the concrete anymore. They're actually have a new uh, conveyor kind of system that will take it over. Actually, it goes completely over the mash room now. But yeah, they're just doing a lot of improvements and maintenance and things like that. Being able to see their hydroelectric, um, power plant basically based on the velocity of the water that's coming down the river Tees is just amazing, and how clean and environmentally progressive that they're trying to be. So that was really cool. Got a ton of video for that. So I'm anticipating a very nice Deanston video to come out. From there, well, and the other thing they were doing is this. I don't know who the poor soul was, but they were polishing the copper stills, and I mean the guy was putting in some elbow grease big time. And I'll post a picture this week of one of the stills, but you can see like the bottom bulbous part of the still was what he had gotten to, and the difference. I mean, it is that pink, bright, shiny copper, and then from the onion bulb up to the stack, that's all that kind of, brownish, verdigreen kind of look. And that's a lot of work for the shine. So anyway, I thought that was very, very interesting. For sure. Let's see who else is here before we get into our tasting. I see Lana. Hey, thanks. Thanks for saying hi. And Bourbon Neophyte. Awesome. Um, Goodness gracious. I just love all the conversations in between. So Donna says we did the double decker in Glasgow and Edinburgh. Glasgow jumped off and abandoned abandoned the family at the Good Spirits Company and met Roddy. That's cool. Oh man, I'm sure they forgave you. Certainly. I mean, it's Roddy. Um, Goodness. Let's see how I don't have a mouse tonight, so I'm kind of having to do the trackpad thing. Oh goodness. I did indeed, Pedro. I had a fabulous time at Clydeside. It's beautiful, and the people are very nice. Very nice cafe there. Um, Staff was good, knew their stuff on being able to do the tour and everything. Um, yeah, just a lot of promise. So much promise there for sure. Let's see who's there. Hey, my brother's on. Hey, and Peter Lee. Hey, brother, good to see you. And Peter Lee's on. Hey, everybody. Um, Goodness gracious. I'm just looking for. Hey, Stacy's here. Four Leaf Whiskey, all things Irish, y'all. She's an amazing woman and knows her whiskey and is super nice. That's a great combination in my book. um, yeah. So we go. Murray delivers us back after a very extensive and lovely tour. He took time out of his day, of course, to do that, and it kind of last minute, and so that was very very appreciative. I think Graham really enjoyed it. We got to. I just kind of sat back, took B-roll, and listened to Graham ask all the cool questions, which I may have to. We may have to do a debrief, Graham. So because I didn't have my notebook with me, and I'll just kind of go by and do some structural notes, and then confirm some things I think I remember from with you. But yeah, just Murray, a young guy, very passionate about Deanston, very passionate about working to make that distillery everything it can be. You know, so doing a lot. They're doing they have four new hoppers, malt hoppers. The whole conveyor system is new, so they're trying to do everything they can to because there's some really old. I mean, it's relatively new, from the '60s, but the buildings, part of the buildings are quite ancient. After being part of a cotton processing and weaving and textile mill, so he's just wanting to make sure that the environment is to where people feel safe and can work well, and want to be part of a really cool distillery. So kudos for you, Murray. Um, Looking, Deanson's always been a favorite. Really looking forward to seeing what all y'all can do this time. We kind of got geeky over some engineering stuff today, so that was fun. Then let's see. So then Helen took us to Warehouse 4. We visited Warehouse 2 with Murray, and then we went to Warehouse 4 for the tasting there with Helen. And she was absolutely delightful. And she gets to go to Bunnahabhain next week. And so I was like, you got to tell everybody, hey, um, but she had three different bourbon casks that she presented to us, and a couple of lagniappe casks. We'll put it that way. So we got to enjoy that. That runs about 45 minutes is the normal tasting. It was just me and Graham, so there wasn't anybody else there. We were in that warehouse for an hour and a half. We were in that warehouse long enough to, you know, finally get our stuff and make the bus to get back to Sterling. And this the tasting was super. I mean, I've got all my drams. Let's see if I can show you the color. So of course I didn't drink all. I did just like I did this summer, where I drank some, poured it in a bottle, then added some water to what I had left, and so it could taste things. But this will kind of give you an idea of the range of things that let me go there, that we tasted today. And you can see there was these two. Oops, wrong way. These two were what I call the lagniappe drams, and they were from different casks that we were fortunate to be able to tap into. in a lot of video, including using the copper dog to that glug 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 sound it makes when that copper dog goes into the cask. It hits the bottom, it lays over, and the air is escaping as the whiskey's going into that little vessel to bring out that beautiful, Scotch whiskey out back out of the cask. Is just it's a really cool sound. So yeah, we got this. The last one was a Amontillado sherry cask, and well, I guess it was a butt, wasn't it, Graham? It was a really big one, but um, neat to be able to experience that and just take our time with it. It wasn't, oh, here's 3 drams, go out. Helen was wonderful, great, walking us through it, and you can tell she's passionate about, again, what they're doing at Deanston. And so yeah, it was a really fun day. It wasn't over. It wasn't over. I want to see who else is here. And any other comments? Like I said, y'all, I can't see much of anything. Oh, Peter, that's so sweet. I think I'm hoping Glasgow Whiskey Festival won't know what it may not know what hit it after I get there. I will tell you that Mr. Morrison enjoyed my Southern accent. So evidently, I've been told that for like 6 times since I've been here. So it may get even thicker by the time the festival is on this weekend for sure. Hey, Carlos is in. Good to see you. Yeah, looking forward to the pics. I'm trying to post a little bit every day. I did a story last night on Clodside. I'm gonna have to have some sleep because I'm just about delirious at this point. Delirious and happy. Like my face is hurting. I'm smiling so much, y'all. It's fantastic. Um, yeah, it is. Deanston is so neat. The river across the road, the whiskeys are definitely nice. Super nice staff. Another really nice cafe that's there, and as Graham pointed out, there were just people from town around that just came to eat there. Which was neat. It was a place for little ladies today that were late lunching, ladies who lunch, you know. Yes, all of it made it. All of it made it. I got some of those GPS trackers and to put on my luggage, and every time I got in my seat on those 3 flights, Martin, I checked that app and I made sure that that tag said my bag was near me. I was like, "Yes." Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Um, you hope your memory somebody's gonna have to remember this, Graham. You know so much about whiskey and the history, and I'm gonna tell you, there's you could go to a distillery, you could go to different whiskey experiences. A 30-minute conversation with Graham will teach you something. Let me just say that. Goodness gracious. So very generous today. Hey, Mr. Great Shot. Thanks for being here. Um, yeah, so oh goodness. I have to go back up here. So Andrew, you did the pot still, good spirits, and Bonaccord all in one day. Wow. Is there just the Piper bar? Well, if you only have 1 dram per place, Good Spirits is a whiskey shot, so that's not it technically. I mean, you could have some samples there. I'm just saying they're quite generous there. And I know Ralphie has a couple of his expressions at Good Spirits, and he's been there this week in the evenings, I think. So anybody coming in for that might want to check that out for sure. But yeah. uh yeah, let's so Sugar Kitty saying my accent at the festival is retribution for the Oscars commentary that us Americans had to super chat to get subtitles. you know, um, That is really pretty funny because met Tom later on that night, and it was yeah. It if you haven't seen the Oscars, someone made a super chat to pay for subtitles for some of the Scottish folks because some of the accents were so thick that you might not have caught everything. But I think I don't know if the replay has closed caption. I, I I dare say I would like to see what that would come up with because even in English, they come up with doozies, you know? Um, oh, okay. So you've got another Glasgow distillery, the Glasgow distillery with the 1770. I- Interesting. How do you like that? I've not had too much of theirs just yet. Um, yeah. Okay. So, Greg, yeah. So you had an Amontillado cask finish. Was it a Deanston or was it something else? Um, oh, it was a German whiskey. Okay. Slyers Distillery. Huh. Interesting. Um, very cool. Um, yeah, I know. I'd like to be a lady who lunches. Right now, I'm a lady who's drinking, so I'm not going to say that's bad. Mm. I'm actually drinking one of my samples of the Art in America that had a leak. So it had a little seepage on the way over across the Atlantic. So I thought, well, that's not quite fair to give to somebody. So I'll just take care of it right here and there. Um, oh, Sugar Kid, I didn't realize that super chat was from you. That's hilarious. Oh, that's funny. Oh, goodness. So, yeah, so we get back to Sterling after 4 hours at Deanston, which I ain't mad at because, I mean, it's amazing. And well, let me start off. So we'll back up. Once I got to Sterling, we had I actually got there super early for when we had to get on the bus to go to Calendar. Graham took me on a walk around Sterling. And for a flatlander, there were some hills that were a little they were a little taxing, but we made it, started my program, honey. Already did hill work. But yeah, just absolutely stunning. It's so close to Glasgow, y'all. I really did not realize how close it was. That you could stay in the city and go back and forth. Eh, the train ride is incidental price wise when you look at what you might spend to go, in an Uber somewhere. Um, and super clean, easy, safe trains go up there. The town is absolutely gorgeous. You have Stirling Castle, you have the William Wallace Memorial Monument, um, but the whole idea that is sitting on, the top of that town is sitting on a volcanic rock. How old it was, and I think help me out here, Graham, but that's where Mary Queen of Scots was actually coronated. If you're not familiar with the Stirling tapestries, with the unicorns and just, it's just so much history condensed in a very easy to get around place, walking place. So there's my Chamber of Commerce plug for Sterling. Uh, would be lovely if we'd just gone and had coffee and breakfast, which we did, but we had a great tour and walk around, and it was a gloriously beautiful day. Some spotty clouds here and there, but the sun was just nice and warm. And actually, we did get a little warm walking around. But it was fantastic. So yeah, from there, bus calendar, Jen and Rachel, then over to Deanston, the tour with Murray, then tasting with Helen. we get back to Sterling and we go visit the whiskey gantry in Aden, in that beautiful shop. And he poured us a dram to enjoy. Just really good people. That's the thing that I love so much about this is you get around these, you don't know them from Adam, you but I walk in with Graham and I gotta say I'm bona fide because I'm with Graham, you know, and a friend of Graham is a friend of, whoever that he's introducing me to. So you just sit there and you geek about whiskey. He had like 6 bottles of Westland. I was like, wow, I'm really impressed you've got that much Westland in Sterling, of an American single malt from the Pacific Northwest. Uh, so yeah, I mean, it's just really neat, and hopefully get to see him again on Saturday at the festival. And then we went for a nightcap. We're three. Um, excuse me. We went down to see Mandy at the Curly Coog, COO, as in cow. I'm trying to sneeze, but I think it's there. Um, anyway, absolutely lovely bar. Sorry, guys. Um, Lovely bar, lovely lady, and wow, what a collection. As I said and told Andrew a little bit earlier, our first dram was a Thompson Brothers. Well, I mean, basically a Dornoch Castle cask 54. Um, just beautiful, just floral, and you know, it was light. I'm pretty sure that it was a bourbon matured cask, and just these were drams where you're not thinking a whole lot about. You're not sitting there and just analyzing them to death. It was just a time after a long, wonderful whiskey day to just sit in the pub and enjoy the dram and chat with Mandy and just kind of reflect on the day that we had. So very nice. Our second dram was, hang on, I know what our third dram was. What was our second dram? Graham, what was our second dram? Shoot, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't it the it was lag. Oh, yes, it was lag. So I've not had a lag. Lag being the second distillery on the island of Arran. So I had not had a lag yet, and it was their inaugural release. So that was super special. Um, Pretty complex for being that young. Lovely peat to it. Just really nice, somewhat gentle, but had some fortitude, Interested to see what more is going to come out. I know a lot of barflies have really talked about lag and gotten excited about it, and that's not something we're seeing over in the States yet, or at least not where I live. So that was really cool to be able to try that. And then I saw this other bottle and I got really nostalgic, especially for my friend Jennifer, who y'all all know that's on it was on with us last week on Halloween. But they had an Ardbeg Kelpie, and there's just something about that dram and the experience that I had with it at Isla at the end of that Ardbeg jetty, and there were oysters that were out on this tray on ice. We poured the kelpie in the oyster shell and just yum. So we had a dram of kelpie. Well, this is small world syndrome here because we're enjoying these drams, and this woman comes in with her grown son, and they sit down, and she's like, "Oh, this is my friend from Norway," and I'm like, That accent ain't Norway. I'm sitting there going, she's from like my kind of part of the world, you know. Long story short, this woman who came in just um, is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, has lived in Norway for 27 years, but she's from Baton Rouge. And the whole idea of two women from Baton Rouge being in the Curly Coup was like, is the earth falling off its axis? I mean, how weird can that actually be, right? So we have a new friend. Yeah, it's been crazy stuff like that the whole time, you know, and just really enjoying that, enjoying company, people that you know are so genuinely interested in whiskey, but also interested in sharing thoughts about whiskey, sharing the drams with you. Um, whether you're here in Scotland or whether you're, you know, with your buddy or a pal or whatever, you know, in your area, whether if you don't have people in your area and you can get samples to people back and forth. I know now's the time for a lot of people doing advent calendars and sharing drams for the holidays and things like that. Sharing that whiskey is what it's all about. What it's all about. So yeah, that's been my last 72 hours, y'all. As you can imagine, I'm really freaking tired. But I'm gonna get up in the morning and I'm going to Edinburgh. So yeah, really, really interesting to see how that goes tomorrow. Where I'm going to go to Holyrood and meet one of the distillers there, assistant distilling manager, I believe, Callum, and we're going to do an interview and talk about their new release, the inaugural, and their arrival, actually, their inaugural release called Arrival. I got to speak with Kelly and Rob Carpenter when I was here this summer. And, you know, I'm just so excited that Holyrood's finally got their whiskey out and looking forward to trying that and talking to Callum. And then the new Port of Leaf distillery that opened, I think, maybe 1 month ago, if not sooner than that. I'll go and tour that to see what it's all about. And of course, it's right there in Lee, so I'm sure, well, a quick trip over to the vaults will be called for as well. And so, yeah, that's kind of been what it's been here, um, and it's really great. So I'm go here. So you did. I got to have some of the Westland at the Whiskey Live Paris. Ah, one called Aged in Old Thumper Beer Casks. Hmm, interesting. Yeah, they probably, I would imagine it might have been a like a one-off or something like that. I don't think that's one of their main core range for sure. Um, I love this. Highland Coos perform bits of bizarre magic. Don't be surprised. I believe that. There's all kinds of good gree going on around here for sure. Oh, that's really funny. That's good. As far as yes, I intend to have a full Scottish breakfast before. Well, maybe not a full Scottish breakfast. Maybe a half Scottish breakfast with extra protein and a few more carbs. Maybe not all of that sausage before the whiskey festival. And you definitely have to go all in on a having something in your stomach. That is absolutely necessary. Um, the full and or the black pudding and haggis in the morning you can leave you with quite a pickle later in the day. Yeah, that I could see. I could see. Yeah. Um, Greg's asking about the Leaf. Should be spectacular. I mean, the pictures are just amazing. It's this huge, gorgeous glass block, you know, eh, of a building right on the water. very close to the Britannia. Uh, yeah, so take a look at that. Okay, thank you. I knew you were going to help me out with this. Um, the dram that we had with Adrian was the Annandale and the Scottish Gentry, not the whiskey gentry, the Scottish Gentry shop in Sterling. Yes. So go follow that. Whiskey Mastery, all the things. But yeah, go take a look at that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Have a hopefully a lighter day on Thursday. I don't have all of that nailed down just yet. And then Friday, Friday we pregame for Saturday. Saturday is the main game, and then Sunday there's a post game, and then Monday I come home. So yeah, busy, busy, busy. Enjoying all of it. Really loving the comments and everything, y'all. I know we're gonna cut it a little short tonight because truly I am pretty pooped. But I really appreciate everybody coming on and wanting to say hey. And please know you're all here, definitely in spirit with me. And I'll keep posting as much as I can to socials and just seeing what else is out there. Anything that I come back to. Yeah, that was really someday. That was a really cool day today. Thank you again, Graham, for your generosity and organizational skills extraordinaire. um, yeah, it was very humbling, and I really appreciate your friendship and all that you did for me to show me a fantastic time here in Scotland. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off now, guys. I feel like I'm all droopy. I need some shut eye for sure. But thanks again for everything. And we'll definitely have a recap next week. It may be short as well because I'll be flying in the day before, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, watch your socials. I'll post some more things, and I will see you all. Thank you so much. Slainte, y'all.